we're doing right now to kind of prepare a little bit. Prepare for what, you might ask? That is the question. Okay, so right now my 4-year-old child is crying. So basically I'll just give you an idea. So right over there, you can't really see it unless I was to zoom in. And I don't know. But basically there's a tower right in between those trees, about 0.3 of a mile away. And for the past 2 years, I've had a running kind of, let's call it a journey, an explorative journey, where I've been trying to understand what is potentially frying my brain. I've had multiple insights into what this may be. So, here is what I've learned thus far. Proximity to towers does make a difference. We moved to Portugal, we went to Bali, very few towers within our range except for one which was miles and miles away, and we were protected by mountains on both sides, and basically it was the best I've ever felt in my life. And we then moved back to England, back to Kirsty's family farm, and now we're by a tower, and we've been here for 2 years, and I have to say that it has been quite a challenge. I have noticed my own health conditions get worse. But what I've also noticed is on September 2024, there seemed to have been a dramatic increase for me. Like overnight, I went from being semi-okay to having heart palpitations, ringing in my ears. And basically that didn't end. To be honest, I kind of have been living in a bit of a hell for the past 2 years. However, we are resilient. We will find a way through the gates to the one and only enlightened world of the awakening that's upon us. Nobody said it was going to be easy. So what I suppose I haven't shared fully my journey to date because I've been a chicken. So I am choosing now to be courageous and speak my truth. And to those who can hear it, I am grateful. And to those who can't, so be it. So let's get down into the nitty-gritty. I can't say that I've fully figured out how to thrive in this world as of yet. I have in the past generated abundance and been very joyful. However, I would definitely say, especially in the last 2 years, that it has been extremely challenging. So, here's what I've learned. The metals that are being cast upon us having a major effect on our health when combined with frequencies. Now, when you start to talk about this stuff, a lot of people can disregard it because we cannot see it. However, that is very untrue in some ways, because some people can see it. Some people can definitely feel it. I can definitely feel it. And I know it's hard to not get it mixed up with ascension symptoms and what I might call man-made frequencies. So these frequencies, I'm going to go into more depth about what I perceive to be going on. Look at that, isn't that so lovely? That's like, you just have these like people just out riding their horse. You know, the world, life does go on. So, as you can see, I'm wearing a hat. So I'm just going to cut to the chase. All right. There is a device made by a man called Flanagan. So to date, I have tried everything in my power to be okay and at peace. However, I have still had massive ringing in my ears. Heart palpitations have gone down dramatically since I started to use EDTA to clear out the metals. I'm using other substances. Some of them, if I talked about them, are protocols. I probably just lose everybody right now. So I'll just keep it to the stuff that's kind of out there, which would be the top stuff that I've been taking is biophotonic liquid gold, EDTA, methylene blue, red light therapy, sweating. Amazing. Exercise. Even though I could do a lot more exercise. I think they're like the gold. So with all of that, I was able to get back to some state of functioning, being okay, being able to work, support my family, 2 young boys. The world is crazy, you know, so you just got to keep on going. But there was a period where I could, you know, barely walk, and it was like, you know, pain in my lower back. I was just like, what is going on, man? What the hell is going on, man? So the gold, the reason I'm probably sharing now is because I have found something, and I've given it about maybe 2 weeks now of testing, because sometimes things change and I'm open to everything changing again, and I'll report back if it does. The Neurophone by Patrick Flanagan is absolutely incredible. In my own personal experience, I've been researching the frequency ranges that may be being used. I'm open to all of this just being by accident, but it seems that the subsonic frequencies are some of the most detrimental carrier range, and it just so happens that Patrick Flanagan's invention is using a subsonic frequency in the 40 hertz, which basically you wear as transducers. There's a way of wearing it. I've actually just like taped it to my head, but you can do it in a way that doesn't look bad. The reason I do that is because I just don't want them coming off, because at night time, I'm going to be going to bed soon. I just lie there and I have them on all night, and I literally am in like peace, which I can't say I've been able to attain for the last 2 years. Basically, every night at about 10 o'clock, I start hearing like a high pitch squeal. I start feeling like dread, anxiety. Basically, from where I was in Portugal in a valley, every night was literally like absolute peace and just beauty. And I'd look at my 2 young boys in bed, and it was just the most beautiful harmonic valley I've ever been in my life. And I can't tell you, is it that the earth has just changed? We just entered into ascension overdrive. The frequencies that are man-made have just gone into let's boil the frog mode, you know. I tend to think the latter, because to me it doesn't feel godlike what's happening. It feels more man-made, or let's just say artificial. So with that knowledge, a lot of people are, you know, just like hanging in there, and they're saying, you know, we'll just ride this out, just like deep breaths, positive thinking, and I'm all for that. However, the one caveat to that is I believe we need to use every single modality at our disposal, because if you look at the, let's call them the powers that were, they are the powers that are about to go out the door kicking and screaming. They are using everything in their power to poison, divide, you know, tear families apart. Like, you know, if you can't see it, you can't see it. If you can, you can. But there's a force there that gets off on all of this stuff. So I'm not fancying giving them any more of my power, my energy, low vibratory frequencies, jealousy, hatred, anger, the things that seem to have been coming up a lot over the last 2 years. What I can tell you is I tried very hard with the power of prayer, my mind, detox, everything to try to kind of overcome this. One of the main things is living by a tower. I was like, let's just run to Scotland, to the mountains. And my partner just didn't want to. She was like not ready to run again, run and hide. And looking back on our journey to date, we're still together, which is a miracle because we've been through the gauntlet. I'm actually so happy that we stayed here because I think this, even though this is not a smart city, there's not like repeaters on every building block, we're still pretty close to a tower, too close for my liking, and it's pushed me into having to figure out how can I be okay in this, proximity to an electromagnetic emitting device that some people call directed energy weapon devices. Like it does go pretty crazy when you start to understand what's happening. So this is not to spread fear. This is a video to try to show that there are simple things that we can do. Sadly, this device was about to be released for $100, and sadly the inventor fell down the stairs and never managed to get that out to the world. So it's still, right now it's on sale, it's $200 off, so it's about $600, about £480 I think, something like that. So it's not cheap. However, you can put a double connection in it, and you can run 2 transducers from it, so you could have you and your partner as you go to sleep. I'm going to get another one, and I'm going to have me and my eldest son, and then Kirsty will have our youngest son, and we're going to all wear it at nighttime to protect our beautiful brains. And we're going to continue to look for remedy and solution in this time. By all accounts, it's going to get crazier. I think this summer in particular, August, this eclipse, I think we're going to potentially have round 2 of the event that's been preordained by all of the powers that we'll have another big event coming. And this one will be the proper event where we'll actually see major change. Sadly, I believe, and I'm not trying to be a negative person here, but I do believe that they've got something quite sinister on the way. So the reason I'm speaking out now is because I just feel like I have something to share that's worthy of people's time. So if I was somebody right now who felt like they couldn't sleep, felt like they're getting fried, I personally think this is giving me beyond peace right now. It's giving me the ability to be in joy. I wasn't able to, I was clenching my teeth, I was like something was literally gnawing away at my peace. My peace was non-existent. And now I can breathe again. The ringing in the ears is subsiding. I'm wearing it pretty much as much as I can. It has loads of other benefits. Another video, I'm going to go into the history of it, what it's all about, why he invented it. He invented it when he was 11 because he wanted to learn in his sleep. So it has the ability to bypass. You can't actually learn in your sleep when you listen to audiobooks because of a mechanism of the brain. It's kind of like an alert mechanism to warn you about a baby crying. So you could have something playing, but eventually your brain kind of tunes it out and it won't even listen or register it, but then a baby cries and you wake up. But basically this uses transducers to bypass that element, and it goes into a different part of the ear, and then it can go into the brain. So you can reprogram your subconscious using it. It also has just when I wear it, I feel like my brain is just being massaged. It's just the most beautiful feeling. And it's one of these gifts given to us by this amazing man who was given it by God, like all these inventors that are deeply spiritual. He had a hard life. His lab was burnt down and his house and his caravan, like so many of these inventors, and it was put into secrecy, the Neurophone, for years, until a general that he had made a connection with released it for a favor from him to help him during the Vietnam War. So yeah, he's quite an amazing man, and I feel like it's a huge gift. And yeah, I think I'm gonna make a video like every day, and I'm just gonna speak my mind. And this is video number 1. I just turned 40 2 days ago. This is the beginning of a whole new chapter of my life. My name is Dara.
I couldn't stay. I couldn't stay. I couldn't stay.